Okay, well, welcome to another attempt at a video. This one I'm just going to discuss the modifications that I've done to my car. Some of them might not suit everyone, and a lot of them are just taste. A lot of things, modifications in general, because any car you buy, they were churned out, you know, by the multitude, and they were obviously designed as a compromise with various different options and things like that as well, to try and make them sort of appeal to more people. But very rarely are you going to get a car that's exactly the way you want it. So that's what modifying a car's all about. It's just personalising it. It's just making it suit you and suit your taste. So a lot of the things I've done may not be to everyone's taste, but anyway, I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can because I don't want to go on for too long. I'm going to start with the favourites that I've done, and then I'm going to go through the rest of it. So probably my favourite thing that I've done to this car, I think, is fitted the limited slip diff kit. So I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of exactly how a limited slip diff works or what it does or why you would want one, because honestly, if you need to have that explained to you, then you're probably not going to be interested anyway. A limited slip diff is something that doesn't appeal to everyone, and a lot of people wouldn't even know. I mean, probably most people, I remember one of my friends many years ago said to me, most 99% of people, you could put them in a car with or without a limited slip diff and they couldn't tell you the difference anyway. But it's something that I've always enjoyed, I've always liked, I've always been a rear wheel drive guy, do you know what I mean? I don't even know where I'm going, I'm trying to get down this way. I've always been a rear wheel drive guy, and I like the feeling of a rear wheel drive car with more grip at the front than at the back. So if you put the traction control off and the DTC off in this car, but have the normal diff, just like that just now, have the normal diff, I mean, you can get it to go sideways a little bit, but you can't play with it to the same extent that you could if you've got the slip diff on it. The slip diff makes a big difference to how it behaves. The car now, you know, I can put it in this corner and I can basically slide it pretty convincingly sideways, and you know, it'll stay sideways. That wasn't the best place to do it, obviously, because it was a mini roundabout, but the point is, you've got so much more control over the back end of the car with a slip diff. You just don't have that with a normal diff. So because basically the power all goes to the tyre with the most grip now rather than with the least grip. Basically that's the long and the short of it. So a limited slip diff, big improvement, I think. And the other dynamic thing I've done to the car is improve the brakes. The brakes on these, I mean, I've got to be honest, for what I know, it might have been that the car had the cheapest of brake pads on it when I got it, and maybe that was part of the reason why it didn't brake particularly well. And also the brake fluid could have been, you know, 10-15 years old for all I know as well, so I don't know. But improving the brakes has made a world of difference, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about what I've done to the brakes once I get out of the car. But for my mind, there's a certain amount you can do to these things, and then it becomes kind of pointless, you know. I mean, I'd love to get more power out of it, for example, an M3 engine or a turbo kit or something like that, right? That would be tremendous, of course. But the problem is, it just costs too much money, you know. It's crazy money to start doing stuff like that to one of these. You're going to be, I don't know, thousands anyway, thousands and thousands, and the car just isn't worth that much. It's not worth putting that much into it. I know guys do it. I mean, I know guys spend crazy amounts of money on all kinds of cars, but I don't have it anyway, frankly. I don't have limitless amounts of money to spend on the car, so I'm sort of limited in what I can do. The thing about it is, some of the stuff I've done actually costs nothing, so I'm going to find somewhere quiet to sort of sit in the car so I can go around it, and we'll see if I can go through the mods that I've done and talk a wee bit about them. So let's start with the free stuff first, because free is always good. Everybody likes free stuff. And one of the free things I have done to this car is get rid of the plastic shells that come on these things as standard. Now, if you've got a Z4, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. These have a plastic sort of cover which goes over both sides of it. Comes in 4 pieces actually, so there's 2 outer parts which unclip. You just need a plastic trim tool, or if you want to butcher them you could just attack them with a screwdriver. It unclips and that leaves a plastic bit inside as well which unscrews, and all that's left when you take them off is a little hole at the back there which you probably can't even see because I've covered it over with a bit of black vinyl. So I personally think it looks a lot better like that with the metal bars rather than the plastic things. It's very much dependent on the colour of your car, to be fair, because if you had a red car for example, I think I'd still paint them black or silver or something. I don't think it would suit a bright coloured car or a light blue car or anything like that, but if you've got a silver or a black or a grey one, then you should be pretty good. Hang on a minute, that's good. The grille. Now I think you can actually see there's a little bit of chrome coming through there, but to be honest, I mean, I did this ages ago. Black satin black paint, too many colours going on in the one place there. There was the chrome and then there was the grey bit in the middle and then the black car. It was just too much, I thought. So I painted the outside rings in satin black. To be fair, as I say, that's just a stone chip, the rest of it's not too bad, to be fair, but this whole front end really could be doing with getting repainted, to be honest with you. And on the same sort of theme, just too many colours on the boot lid as well, I felt. So I've got black Z4 badge and I've got a little black it's a wee plastic thing that's actually for a sort of holding trim carpet down, I think, out another car, but anyway, fits in there nicely, and at least it means you can still use the boot lock if your battery's flat or something like that. Obviously normally you don't use the key, do you, because you've got the remote and you've got the button in the footwell. We've got electric driver's seat adjustment on there. The main reason I changed the seats though, now you'll know if you've got one of these, you will know that the early cars all came with a full wiring loom. Now I'm not sure, you need to research this properly, but I think it's all of the pre-facelift up to 2005 cars, so 03, 04, 05 cars, as far as I know, have all got the full what do we call it, the full wiring loom, and that means you can retrofit anything, noisy motorbike, anything that would have been spec'd from the factory as an option, you can add to the car. So I've got, for example, my cruise control, that was £115 or something like that on eBay, brand new, dead easy to fit. You just cut a wee hole in the plastic there and fit it in. There's a little tiny plugs into it, it'll be 4-pin plug about that size, goes into the back of it, and the wiring's there, the plug's there, so it's dead easy. Same with the heated seats, the plug that plugs in to the back of this unit here, for all your, well, normally it's your electric roof and your traction control and whatever. It's obviously got the wiring there for the heated seats, so it's dead easy to fit. And if you live in a hot country, you'll be saying, what the hell do you want heated seats for? Believe me, if you live in Scotland, I'm doing my best not to chitter here, and this is the summertime, genuinely. It is, where are we? 15 degrees, and actually that's not that bad for Scotland, to be honest. But yeah, heated seats, once you've had them in a car, I think it's one of those things you just couldn't do without, and I couldn't anyway. But that didn't cost as much as you might imagine, because the seats that were in the car were in good condition. They were black leather, manually adjusted and non-heated, but I got 200 quid for them when I sold them. I paid about 240 for these 2 seats, and then 50 quid for the control panel, and then about another 30 quid roughly for £30 for the leather dye stuff, because I've actually dyed these a slightly lighter colour. They were beige. It's a kind of dirty looking colour, I thought. I don't particularly like the beige, but I do quite like this. I think it's more modern, and it just lifts the car inside. I think it's just, there was too much black going on, so I think I've just done obviously the door panels to match. I didn't even buy new door trims, I actually just used the ones I had and re-dyed them. It's a tree or something in here, but I mean, I've done a decent enough job, you know, you'd never know. And it's proper leather paint, so it's flexible, you know, there's no issues with the, you know, the stuff cracking or anything like that. It's absolutely fine. I've done the dashboard. That's a cheap mod, that was £6 or £7 on eBay. carbon fibre effect vinyl. Did the steering wheel spokes obviously as well. This is a weird thing, but it's actually a good mod. The gear knob on this was a plastic one, just a kind of cheapy plastic, proper BMW looking one. It might have been the original, I don't think it was, but it looked like it had the M badge on it and stuff, but it was dead light, and I feel this helps the gear change. It's a heavy gear knob, it's actually solid metal. I mean, you've got this in your hand on its own, it's really, really heavy. So it kind of helps the how can I put it? It helps the feel of the gear change, if you know what I mean. It makes it's like momentum basically. As you start to push it, because it's heavy, it wants to keep going. So it just helps. I don't know how to explain it really any better than that, but it is. It's definitely better than it was. So what else have we done inside? I mean, I've left the stereo as it was. I'm still not sure about that. I mean, I bought a really cheap Bluetooth thing, which is this wee doofer here. It was about £7, and it links into your stereo via FM, so you tune one of your stations to whatever the frequency of that is, and it means you can sort of still talk. You speak into that, it's got a mic on it, and the sound comes through the speakers. So it's a kind of rudimentary Bluetooth system, but to be honest, for all the times I need to use the phone in the car, it does the job. But I don't know what to do with that. I still haven't decided. What else? Oh aye, my phone holder. This is a good place to put your phone. Just self-adhesives onto the top there. It's good if you want to use your sat-nav. That's just sort of spring-loaded, so when it's shut it looks kind of shut, but you can open it up, stick your phone in there, and it stays in place. That was a tenner or something. I'll go to one extreme to the other. Probably the most expensive mods I've done. Well, first of all, the wheels themselves. The wheels that were on it were the fairly common 7-spoke, well I think they're like 14-spoke, 17-inch wheels. The problem was when I got it, the tyres were utterly crap, so I wanted decent tyres. I've got Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, as you can see, on the front, but not on the back. I'll come to that in a minute. They're needing cleaned very, very badly, as you can see. Should have done the polish up before I actually did this film, but anyway. But the wheels are just freshly powder coated, or well, 7 or 8 months ago. New badges and new EM badges and all that. The wheels themselves I only paid 150 quid for, but by the time I get them powder coated, that's about 350, and then the tyres were about another 350 for the 4. So I'm about 700 odd quid for wheels and tyres, but worthwhile. I think they look quite nice in the grey. I think the whole car just, you know, that's what I was saying about the cream interior. I think, you know, the grey wheels and the black car with the cream interior, I think in my taste it looks quite decent. You'll also notice the brakes, or at least you might be able to notice the brakes. They are M3 spec E46 front brakes. I've left the rear brakes as standard, because honestly, I mean, I've done that before. A lot of people tell you you can't sort of, you know, use brakes off upgrade your front brakes and not upgrade your rear ones, but honestly I don't think it makes the slightest bit of difference. I don't, in terms of balance, I mean, because it's got ABS anyway, it's not going to be that easy to lock the front compared to the back or whatever. But I just feel the brakes are a million times better than they were. I'm now going to stick this roof up because I'm starting to feel extremely chilly. Oh, that was another thing I did as well, was move the motor from its usual position to the inside of the back, the inside of the boot. Well worth doing, because it's fairly future proof now, I feel. Everybody knows it's a design fault with the car, you know, when they're brand new they've got this daft idea of having the motor for the hydraulics in the side quarter there at the back, on a right hand drive car. That's your passenger side. Fills up with water, covered in sponge as well, so there's no chance of ever drying out. And of course they go faulty, they rust away and they fail. So the hydraulic lines are long enough to reach into the boot. Why they never put it there in the first place, I don't know, but it's there now. So at least hopefully it'll never break again, and if it did, it's a 5-minute job to change it now rather than a whole day, because it really did take me all day to change that motor. That was a nightmare. You can't get the motor out without taking the roof off. There is a guy who has done a YouTube video showing you how to get it out without taking the roof off, but his must have already been done before, because if your car's never had the roof motor changed, then the plastic tub thing that it sits in is cable tied or plastically kind of adhered somehow to the inside of the well where it sits, and you cannot get it out when the roof's in place. Believe me, I tried. The only way it's coming out of there is if you take the roof off, and that was a bit of a saga, so it's not a job I'd like to do twice. But fortunately, as I say, now if it ever did go wrong again, at least it's now a 5-minute job literally to pull it out. It's in the boot and it's in a wee bit of carpet and stuff, so it looks nice enough as well. It's tidy and it only takes up a small amount of room. It's only a wee motor, it's not much bigger than an electric window motor, to be honest. So anyway, brakes. We've got M3 spec E46 front brakes, 325mm I think they are. Second hand calipers, which were about 120 quid I think I paid on eBay. Brand new discs and Brembo pads were about 130 or something like that. Also changed the fluid as well, and I've changed the rear pads. So all in, my brake upgrade probably cost me about 400ish roughly. And it's money well spent, I think, because I'm a keen driver, I don't make any bones about that. I drive quite hard at times, and braking is probably one of the places where you'll make up the most time, really. You know, you can make up for a lack of horsepower by braking a bit later, basically, because you're not going to get the power out of this unless you want to start buying turbos or superchargers or an M3 engine or something like that. Then you're really stuck with what you've got. So to get a bit more pace out of it in general, better brakes, better handling, and obviously, you know, a bit of driver talent. Hopefully I don't have that, but but yeah, that's the story with that.